Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Paddy G YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop your round 11 tips below, because as much as we would like to sit here and recover from Magic Round, which was 3 of the best days of 2023, it's time to get into those round 11 tips. Round 11 kicks off in Melbourne, Amy Park. The Melbourne Storm taking on the Brisbane Broncos. Surprise, the Storm are favourites in this one, given how, for the Melbourne Storm side, how poor they have been to start the 2023 season. Meanwhile, outside of that hiccup to the Raiders and of course that big loss to the Rabbitohs, the Brisbane Broncos have certainly been flawless. I know Melbourne have had a superb record over the Brisbane Broncos over the past few years, but I'm not going to overthink this one. The Broncos are in better form. They've been near perfect but 2 games to start 2023, so I'm going to be taking the boy from Red Hill in the Thursday night fixture. 2 Friday 6 p.m. staples, the Bulldogs. They're at Sydney Olympic Park taking on the New Zealand Warriors. The Warriors, while in defeat, were so gallant, and that unfortunately has been the message for the Warriors the past few weeks. They've been putting in good efforts, they just can't seem to get over the line. Meanwhile, the Bulldogs, it certainly hasn't been the expectations that have been lived up to in 2023 so far. I could maybe go the upset here, but I'm going to play it safe. The Warriors have just shown me more than the Bulldogs. The Warriors are in 11th. They've been so good, but find themselves so low on the ladder. So I'm going to tip him to get bounced back with a win over the Doggies. The main event on Friday night, 2 of the top tier teams in this competition, but surprisingly both are definitely struggling for form. The Panthers hosting the Roosters out there at the foot of the mountain. Penrith, they were clinical last week, but only managed to scrape by with a 12.1. Meanwhile, the Roosters, they really struggled against the Cowboys. The Roosters could bounce back in a big way, but I'm going to tip the Penrith Panthers here. They're back at home, and I just think they're playing better footy at the moment. They can get downfield, they just can't figure out a way to score. But their defense is as good as ever, and I think that carries them back to another win on Friday night. In the first game on Saturday, the West Tigers will be looking to make it 3 in a row when they take on the most informed team in the competition back out there at Olympic Park. And I'm sorry, Tigers fans, but you got back-to-back wins to start last season. You lost the next week. I think it's going to happen again. I think the Tigers can put up a fight. I'd love to see them get off the bottom of the ladder. But anyone who's tipping against the Bunnies in the form they are in is crazy. They're at home. I can't not tip the Rabbitohs in front of the Burrow. The middle game on Saturday, the Cowboys, they're hosting the Dragons. Cowboys played themselves back into form. The Dragons, they're really struggling. Wouldn't be surprised if Old Hook gets hooked before this game. So for that reason, with all the off-field distractions, with all the mixing and changing, I'm taking the Cowboys. Maybe this is the start of that 2022 form we have been waiting for. They're at home in Townsville. It'll probably be sold out, so I'm tipping the boys from North Queensland. This is a good one to end Saturday. The Eels, they travel to GIO Stadium. The Raiders, can you believe it? 4 wins on the trot. It's been a disaster start to the season, but almost ever since the bye and the Jack Whiten signing news, it's almost like they've lifted to another gear. In saying that, the Eels, they've been like this for the past few years. Yes, sure, they've got a few wins by this point, but it's been one hell of a draw for them. No excuses last Sunday. Probably should have got the win there, but I am taking them in this game. I think the Eels bounce back. They have a horrible record in Canberra, but I'm going to tip them as my upset of the week. The first game on Sunday, the Knights, they're hosting the Gold Coast Titans. Titans coming off what should be 3 wins in a row if it wasn't for that collapse in the second half to the Dolphins. But back-to-back wins, they've been certainly impressive. Meanwhile, the Knights, Questions around Adam O'Brien still. This is their first game since they got flogged by the Eels, and after going away and getting criticised by going to Bali, I think they lift. I think they lift back at home Sunday in front of the home crowd. I genuinely think the Knights can get up. The Titans, they might hit a low. This is where the Titans have been the past few years. They get a roll on and then they get stopped. And I think they're going to get stopped at 2 p.m. in Newcastle. The final game on Sunday, the Battle of the Beaches at 4 Pines, Manly and the Sharks. The two teams will be most disappointed after Magic Round. And you guys know where I sit. I'm going to tip Manly, but I do think the Sharks will win here. Since that Titans game, the 4 Pines thing, it's sort of gone out the window. Manly haven't been impressive since they beat the Storm, and before that, they were in a dull as well. So maybe this is finally the Manly that we're all expecting to see. Who knows? Maybe back at home they can produce something. Hell, all it really takes is for Tommy Turbo to get back to the form we know he is capable of. But I can't remember the last time the Sharks under Craig Fitzgibbon played 2 bad games in a row. I can't remember the last time Nico Hines, since he started his career at Melbourne, had 2 quiet weeks in a row. So I'm going to tip the boys from the Beaches, but I expect the boys from the Shire to get the win. But I'm tipping Manly because I have faith. But there you have it. My round 11 tips. The Broncos, the Wars, the Panthers, the Bunnies, the Cowboys, the Eels, the Knights, the mighty Manly Seagulls. But the safe bet is the Cronulla Sharks. Getting back to what it's been the past few years with the Finns having the bye, which is pretty sad. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know your tips for round 11 in that comment section down below. I apologise for my voice once again. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one. Friday Night Footy.